Red's not supposed to be green, like fake's not supposed to be seen. The sky's not supposed to touch the ground, and the square's not supposed to be round. The moon's not supposed to touch the sun, and a two is not supposed to be a one. And the heart's not supposed to weigh a ton, and forever's not supposed to be done. Winter's not supposed to come in June. I am not supposed to have the blues. There are so many things that are not supposed to be, babe, except you and me. There are so many things that I'm not supposed to be. Ooh, babe, yeah, except you and me. Night's not supposed to be long. Yeah. No one is supposed to be alone. Understanding is not supposed to be confused. And the wind is not supposed to lose. Like fire's not supposed to freeze. Like joy is not supposed to grieve. Like you are not supposed to leave. What I said I'm not supposed to mean. He is not supposed to have your heart. Baby, we are not supposed to be apart. There are so many things that are not supposed to be said. You and me. Good morning, y'all. Hey. Okay. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get one early one in. Okay. Well, Jennifer has requested a 2-week extension from having her motion that's expected to be in on February the 3rd. Okay. So she's asking the court's Judge Donnelly if she can have until February the 17th, okay, to file this post-trial motion. So let's go. A letter from the lawyer shared online reads, although undersigned counsel has been working diligently to complete Mr. Kelly's post-trial motion, several issues have arisen that demand a short extension. It adds, first, the MDC indefinitely suspended all jail matters over a month ago, preventing undersigned counsel from meeting with Mr. Kelly to review the proposed pleadings. To complicate matters, Mr. Kelly was advised he had contracted COVID. So in case you guys wasn't aware that R. Kelly had contracted COVID, yes, he had contracted COVID since he has been at the MDC. So, yeah, this was complicated that R. Kelly had contracted the COVID, which interfered with his ability to speak with his counsel by telephone. R. Kelly is said to have several Zoom meetings arranged over the next 2 weeks when he and his counsel will prepare his post-trial defense. So the post-trial defense is not completed and needed more time due to the MDC being kind of on shut down. For some of you guys was aware that the facility was on lockdown due to COVID, the exposure of it. So they did, lock down that facility. And R. Kelly did contract it, and it was out here. I don't know if I posted it, but I know it was put out here that he had it. And I know I spoke to a few people about it. But anyway, he just asked that we all pray for him during this time, that, he had been exposed and that experience, with COVID. So R. Kelly has reportedly asked for more time to file an appeal in his ex-abuse case after testing positive for COVID in jail. That this was found guilty of records. Okay, this is the singer now faces decades in jail after pleading his attorney, so it's now reported written. Okay, so suspension. Okay, so the first, the MDC definitely suspended all jail matters over a month ago, preventing an undersigned counsel from meeting with Mr. Kelly to reveal the proposed pleadings. To complicate the matters, he was advised that he had contracted it. It is said to have several Zoom meetings arranged over the next 2 weeks when he and his counsel will prepare his post-trial defense. The first of those meetings is expected to be held on February 3rd this week. Okay, so in September 2021, okay, so including the charges were based on the argument that the unauthorized other managers. Okay, so this is pretty much why all right, so yes, you guys, that's Kelly's lawyer was this morning. Oh, okay, so maybe I'll just read this article to you guys because this is kind of out here. Okay, so the first of the meetings is okay. So we read that in September 2021, R. Kelly was found guilty on all 9 charges against him. This included bribery, forced labor, kidnapping, exploiting of a child, racketeering involving sex alleged victims of sexual trafficking across state lines. The charges were based on the arguments that the entourage of the managers and aides who helped the singer meet the girls and keep them obedient and quiet amounted to a criminal enterprise. During Kelly's trial, several accusers testified in lurid details alleging the star subjected them to perverse and sadistic whims when they were underage. Kelly was also convicted of criminal counts accusing him of violating the Mann Act, which makes it illegal to take anyone across state lines for any immoral purpose. Following the jury's verdict, women's rights attorney Gloria Allred, who represented several of Kelly's victims, described the musician as the worst sexual predator she had pursued in her 47-year career. And his ex-wife, Drea Kelly, who was also married to the star for 13 years, said her heart breaks for her kids who are forced to live with their dad's shame. She told Good Morning Britain in September, "Well, I sit in a very difficult place because unlike the rest of his victims, I also share children with him. I was married to him." Drea, who shares 3 kids with the R&B singer, told the show how she wears 2 hats, that of a survivor and a mother. She said, "My heart definitely goes out to the survivors and the courage that it takes to even come forward and tell the story. But my heart breaks as a mother because this is now the legacy that my children will have to deal with and their children's children." Drea, real name, Drea was married. Kelly's lawyer, Deborah O'Connor, said he was disappointed amid the verdict. He said outside the court, the government cherry-picked evidence to support its narrative. The verdict came more than 10 years after the musician was acquitted of child pornography charges in Illinois State. The widely watched documentary surviving R. Kelly helped force his case back into the spotlight. So, yeah, that was just a quick update, you guys, just to give you guys on what's happening with R. Kelly's case. So, yeah, Jennifer is definitely requesting it be submitted no later than February 17th. So the expected date that the motion will be presented by the 3rd for us viewers to review will not be available at that time. Looks like that is now being pushed back to February 17th, 2022. And so with that being said, you guys have a great Tuesday, and I will see you guys on the next one with more content and commentary. Unless you have a question, leave a question in the comment before I end this live, and we can dialogue a little bit. If not, I will see you guys really, really soon. Because I thought we were going to have this in by the 3rd, but with this updated information, now we have to wait an additional 2 weeks. So like I stated before, this is pushing this back into the realm of time in case the judge denies it. It will go towards the time where he would just go ahead and go up for sentencing and then also be preparing for his upcoming trial. So, worst case scenario, he's not granted this, what Jennifer's trying to do. He'll be sentenced in May. And then she'll put the appeal in immediately upon his sentencing. She can actually put that in. And then he is scheduled to go to trial in Chicago August the 1st this year. So it's so much stuff that's happening around his case, even though it doesn't look like, anything is moving. There is moving parts. It's happening behind the scene. A lot of stuff is silent at this point. Moving forward, and things is shaken up, and there is a lot of new developments that's happening in R. Kelly's case. That's for sure. So we see. Calvin would have to come off anyway because he was a part of the legal team that did its job, and now that it's going towards the appellate attorney, which is Jennifer. So she'll be able to spearhead this, and she has her own team. So everybody falling off of the team of R. Kelly in terms of these lawyers withdrawing. Yes, it is procedural for them to withdraw once they have completed its their job, and it's not like they can go any further, because what happens from here, it requires a higher level of attorney. So and I'm sure her team her team is phenomenal and is going to bring what the structure of what this support should have had from the very beginning. The foundation, is getting the roots now, because it has to have that solid foundation in order to grow off of. Because, like I said, Jennifer is going to bring in her own private investigator. She get to bring in her own team of people whom she works with, whom will be able to go out there and do the diligence of her client to get this conviction overturned and bring forth the accurate information that we over here at Pieces of the Puzzle already is aware of and already know. But yet at the same time, it's for those who are in doubt, those who believe Mr. Kelly is guilty. She will be able to present information that has yet to be presented in a manner that it needs to be presented, because all the others have failed. Okay, Mr. Kelly, from Steve Greenberg to Nicole to Tom Farinella to Doug Anton, down to his associates, his friends, his entourage, his camp. They fell apart on Mr. Kelly. They failed him because of the things that they were doing. And we know these people to have been doing these things because, like I said, even Don himself has said that he has even, flew girls out and had sex with women. And he was doing the things that R. Kelly was accused of. And he actually came out and said he did those things. And so he was like, I guess that's supposed to be considered a crime or something like that. I have it on audio. If I ever have to go back and present it, I will, because my information over here is all accurate and factual, and it's not made up content. So, but hey, good morning, BDQ. Hey, Miss Gina. Hey, Level Up, Nene. I see y'all in the building. Good morning, y'all. Getting the early one in, and just wanting to update you guys on, what's happening in terms of the motion that we're waiting for. The next couple of days will not be out due to Jennifer needing some more time, because she was not able to visit Mr. Kelly at all last month. And we all knew that the MDC was on lockdown. We all knew that the COVID numbers had went up there. And so they were on lockdown, and she had no access to getting into the facility. And because of the restrictions that was put in place, she wasn't going to be able to visit him. And then him having COVID, she wasn't going to be able to visit him because, then she would have been exposed. So everything happened, took away the time that they had to prepare for this upcoming motion that was due in the next couple of days. And so due to the circumstances, I do believe that Judge Donnelly is going to grant this. This request just went out last night, so it will be in, I'm sure she'll have an immediate response, if not sometime this evening before the day's end. I think we would know, if not by tomorrow. But yeah, she'll be able to get that in there, because it's not, it was due to the circumstances, of COVID. And so, good morning, Felisa. Hey, bro. Yes, y'all come on in. So, yeah, that's pretty much, let me see. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so Steve Greenberg gone, Mike Leonard gone. We got Kanik is gone. Scholar should be gone. I'm waiting to hear about Nicole and Tom Farinella will be the last two to hear of the withdrawals. So we already know that those are gone. And, so I haven't heard anything about Nicole or Tom coming off the case or filing their motion to withdraw, letting Jennifer move forward. So far, we have a few off, but, Hey, good morning, Kenya Willis. Good morning, LaPrice. Hey, girl. Yes. So again, you guys put your comments in the chat. If not, I'm gonna end this, make this a short live because I just wanted to come on here. I know there's lots of lives going around. I did not get a chance to watch the full live of Levi, so I can't really elaborate on that. But I did hear some of it, just not enough to really, put my analysis on it. But I mean, as long as things is going into a positive direction, you guys, I'm all for positivity all 2022. No time for negativity, no time to look backwards when we're going forward into a better direction, and knowing our support for R. Kelly is important. He appreciates our support. I've gotten that firsthand. Not only from the man himself, but definitely from his former legal team. So it's definitely important that we continue to do what we do, as much as it's put on our hearts to continue to go on this journey with R. Kelly for the pursuit of justice, due to the system being corrupt as it is. This support system is important and is definitely needed, and I'm just honored to be a part of it. So let me see. Good morning. Good morning. Who is that? Jamie that came all up in the building. Good morning, Jamie. I'm giving y'all early morning vibes. Like, what's good, y'all? Like, what's good? This early morning. What's up? What it do? So, but I mean, have you guys have any questions about the interview that I could, research and look into and see, because I'm definitely going to go back and take a listen to it. I don't get a chance to go to everybody's platforms like I used to, but I be trying to, stay in the now. I know am in the now. So, but, I just go where I could feel good vibration. So I get that back to you all over that. Let me see. Okay, well, I think that's it, you guys. I don't want to drag this live on longer than we have to. The most important thing is, again, the motion that we're expected to come out is not going to come out until the 17th, as long as Judge Donnelly grants this, which I believe she will, due to the unfortunate circumstances that was out of everyone's control. And so because Jennifer was not able to connect with Mr. Kelly, and then Mr. Kelly having COVID prevented her from even coming as well, on top of the lockdown. So now that they have over the next couple of weeks to prepare, they'll be doing lots of video Zoom calls. And so again, we'll be having the motion available around the 17th. And so and that's good. That gives us enough time. And you guys just continue to keep Kelly uplifted in prayer, and let's continue to pray for Jennifer, that she'll continue to do her diligence. What's good, Trigger? About to be out my Igga. Trigger. Hey, Sandra. Does Kelly have COVID? I don't think he have it anymore, because at the time that he did confirm that he had it, let me go back and I'll tell you when. He confirmed that he had COVID, and I thought I brought this to y'all, so my apologies if I didn't. was January the wait, January the 4th. January the 4th this year, R. Kelly, wait, R. Kelly knew January the 4th this year that they were on lockdown because of the whole COVID thing. He couldn't get any, communications because of that. But let me see when he knew he had the COVID, which was, wait, because there was confirmation he had it. Hold on. Mm, mm, let me see. Okay, so anyway, it would have been around January the 4th. COVID is something serious. I just got over it. And you know what, Trigger? My son, my 28-year-old adult son contracted COVID and didn't even know he had COVID. And he went to the emergency. And when he got to the emergency, he fainted. And so once he got up and they, did the EKGs, the EKG monitor, it detects what's going on around your heart and stuff, right? And so they came back, his results came back, and it showed that he had blood clots. And so the blood clots were, they were attacking his lungs and going near his heart. So they immediately put my son in ICU and isolated him and was helping him back and putting him on the blood thinners and everything that he had to go through that process. And so I'm here to tell you guys, that COVID is definitely real. It's definitely real. And my son was scared to pieces because he didn't have no symptoms. He didn't have no type of symptoms. It was the most horrifying thing that he could have experienced, as well as myself, through him, because that's as close as COVID has been to us. And even in the nursing field, there's different sides of COVID, and I don't work on the COVID side or in the COVID unit, but we still have all the CDC guidelines and COVID restrictions and preventative measures that we have put in place. But I'm saying this to say that I don't know. I've just had my own thoughts of COVID, and it's just weird to have my child experience it. So I know now whatever I was in denial about has made me extra cautious even more now, even going to work, even just still just having my own thoughts about the process of COVID and everything and how it came about. And just, everybody have their thoughts of it. Some people, believe it's real. Some people don't believe it's real. It's just confusing of the whole entire situation. I never doubted it, but I definitely know it's real. So I would just encourage everybody to just, make sure your sanitary area, your housing, your everything is up to par, corner to corner clean, keep your hands washed. stay social distancing, wear your mask at all times, and just stay social distancing until, further notice, until this big world punishment we're on, we get off of it. But right now, this is going to be something that's going to be here for a while. This is not something that's just going to go away within a year or two. Just wanted to add that into this commentary, since Trigger did put that in there about this COVID. And I'll continue to pray for you, Trigger, and everybody that has been affected by COVID, because again, it's real. COVID is real, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. Wow, Felisa. Yeah, this COVID is serious, y'all. And it's so crazy because I was actually going to share this with you guys a while ago about my son's situation when it occurred last month. And that's kind of, why I just been, sporadic as well, because I got a life to live. Social media is not my life, but I definitely am here for the R. Kelly's case and any updates that I can bring to you guys in awareness and things like that. But there was this hospital. It was a Methodist hospital, actually, and the doctor was suspended because of the steps that she was actually taking in the COVID prevention. And she's a private practice hospital, it's not government funded. And so it's crazy because they literally suspended her of her duties because of what she failed to, she was connected to the Methodist hospital. And because of she didn't want to hospitalize any of her patients because she was using the necessary precautions measures that were already put in place. And I guess they wasn't getting no business off of her, is what it sounds like to me. Okay. Hold on, I wanted to share that with y'all. And so, but anyway, she did not want to send any of the patients to the hospital because she had a measure put in place that was actually effective. She saw over 80,000 COVID cases. She had over 2,000 in her hospital alone, and all of them healed and got well. But anyway, this is River Oaks, and this is her, and it was what she was saying.
Doctors who are seeing that positive change and treat patients accordingly for the positive changes that it's working. Exactly. It's not financially lucrative to repurpose drugs.
So she was questioning basically. I want to go back to some of the beginning of her interview, so at least you guys can hear. Okay, because they cheered for her. And she stood up for COVID.
Since then, I've had a lot of people publicly comment that I should lose my license. These people don't know me; they're strangers. One of the people in particular, Ariana Garcia, is a journalist for the Houston Chronicle. And 3 days ago, she published a story entitled it, "Former Houston Methodist Doctor Still Has Her License Despite Continuing to Spread COVID-19 Misinformation." Shame on her. Shame on her. Ariana does not know me. Yeah, Ariana does not know me. She never bothered to ask me to comment on this article before she published it. And neither do any of the other people who have called for my license to be removed. So I want to tell y'all what it takes to get into this spot right here. And it's not an easy journey. It's not easy to get a medical license. My path took 13 years of higher education. I had to make straight A's. Residency was the 5 hardest years of my life, mentally, physically, emotionally. But I did learn a lot. And one of my most valuable lessons was to take a critical view of pharmaceutical companies and not be the first person to prescribe the newest and latest drug until it has stood the test of time.
So she challenged the pharmaceutical vaccinations that they're inputting in us. And so because she's a doctor, she goes higher than my degree could. But she challenged them. And when she challenged them, they suspended her. Why would they suspend her? To me, suspending her is to silence her. But let's continue to listen to what she was fighting for and why she challenged them about this vaccination that had not been tested long enough to have results.
And that has served me well when looking at COVID-19 and how we're treating it. Also, one of my favorite attendees at Stanford, he told me that we need to be wary of any new vaccines that come out and not to follow the herd, to take it with a critical view. I also learned about the culture of these big academic institutions. And they're rigid, they're hierarchical, and they breed conformity. And I knew that after residency, that was not the kind of practice I wanted to be surrounded in. Thank God. So, in the following years, I had kids, and that experience gave me a different perspective on the doctor-patient relationship. I had 4 boys in 5 years. So basically, I was a patient for 5 years straight. And that was eye-opening. I learned what a inefficient, impersonal, confusing healthcare system we have. And when I started this clinic, I was determined to do things differently. I have no financial ties with any third parties. I contract with insurance companies. I don't contract with the government. I do not take Medicare. I have no financial ties with hospitals and no financial ties with pharmaceutical companies.
I'm going to pause that because that was the problem. She do not have no financial ties to the government or no other entity for that matter. She is a private owned doctoring hospital and she run her own facility. Okay, so she didn't want to get funded by the government because the vaccinations is from the government. So if you guys are on welfare or any type of government funded programs, then that means, or you work for any government entity, then you are mandated to take the vaccination. But and that's why the president Biden just came out last week with clarifying. Well, he didn't clarify it because he got struck down actually by the Supreme Court. They did not agree with mandating the vaccinations, but they only did a partial mandating. So the partial mandating went towards those who are on government funded programs. So if you're relying on the government for their services, then you will have to be forced to get these vaccinations because they're mandated vaccinations for anybody that's under these government programs or entities or work for these government hospitals and facilities or anything that's funded by the government, basically. Okay, so she's fighting them because she's not a part of them. She's basically an independent hospital, just like these artists or independent artists who be making millions of dollars and then they don't go with the government. Then the government try to come in, how they could take your assets from you and basically muscle you, and then and in some instances take you out because you ain't cooperating. So in this situation, their government is taking this doctor out of her own practice, all because she's not following their guidelines, because she's not bound to follow their guidelines. For one, she's an independent doctor and hospital ran facility. Okay. Are they clapping for me? All right, thank you. Nah. That was a good speech, though.
The only people I work for are my patients.
Look, These are the only people she worked. Look, my speech came right with the clap. But anyway, only people I work for is pieces of the puzzle.
Treat them the way I would want to be treated. Thank you.
And so that's why the government came for her, because she's independent. She's not doing what they want her to do. She's not following their narrative. She's not trying to poison her patients, because like she said, she was a patient for 5 years because she had 5 kids and she was in the hospital back to back to back having babies. So she knows firsthand, as not only being a doctor, but being a parent, and what she would do to her children, she wouldn't do to anyone else's, or her patients, she do to anyone else. So you gotta stand up for this doctor up in Houston, River Oaks doctor that was suspended.
I'm also a strong believer in transparency, and I list all my prices on my website, and I list all my clinical data on my website. My ENT and sleep medicine practice morphed into this COVID center in response to my patients' needs and wants. To date, or actually in the last 6 months even, I have treated over 2,000 people successfully as outpatients for COVID.
And this is the other issue right here. Not only did she didn't want to go along with the get along gang, but because she's treated over 2,000 COVID infected patients on the outpatient side rather than hospitalizing them, her treatment has deemed effective, and it has prevented them from retracting COVID and having to go into the hospital. This is what is the government is suspending her for, and trying to stop her in her tracks, because she's stopping the bag from coming in. They need her to hospitalize those patients who has been confirmed COVID cases, but she has yet to even hospitalize one patient, because her measures that she has taken has gotten and proven more effective than what the government is trying to inject in each and every one of us.
I have one of the wonderful patients here today who is just now recovering from COVID. And if she had taken the traditional route, she would be in the hospital or worse right now. Okay. And she has graciously agreed to tell you her experience. Her name is Sylvia Anderson.
Before I began to share with you my experience, I like to bend my knee and bow before the King. Yes. Yes. Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Yes.
So this is one of her patients who was a success story. I'm gonna skip through that, but she was a success story, and she came out to speak on the behalf of this doctor, because of what this doctor did. It prevented her from going into the hospital. So basically, this doctor is preventing patients from going into the hospital, is preventing money from coming into the hospitals, where they can't benefit off of patients becoming their guinea pigs. Okay, and this doctor is spoken up.
Yes. And then we laughed about how hard it is to get it out of the package, but she did it. And we did that for several days in a row. And then this past weekend, she was able to stay home and rest. And here she is today, doing great.
So just to give you guys a quick update on the doctor who was suspended from River Oaks in Houston, she was a Methodist doctor that was presiding over her views of COVID-19. She basically ended up resigning. Okay, so just to let you guys know, she ended up resigning from the hospital, so she's no longer working there. And that's just a quick update on that. But yeah, it's always about the money, you guys. COVID definitely is real. So just make sure you guys are taking your necessary preventative steps to stay cautiously aware and just aware of this COVID situation, and minimize yourself from large and big numbers of crowds, because it's very important that we take care of our health, and because this is an invisible disease, I'll say that it's invisible. It's an invisible virus, not disease. It's an invisible virus that anyone can contract, and really you can have it and not even know you have it. That was my time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you like this video. If you don't do anything else, hit that like button. If you didn't do it on your way in, make sure you do it on your way out. I will be back with you guys at a later time with another one, talking about other topics, and I'm definitely wanting to read the transcripts of that Cardi B case. I gotten something. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna review it, and then I'll be back at a later time with you guys. Okay. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, it's not the way it's supposed to be. Like, share, subscribe. I'm your host with the most news you can use. Hollywood Next presents Pieces of the Puzzle. You guys have a blessed Tuesday. Pieces. Free R. Kelly. Free them all.